I couldn't walk anymore. I was like just lying in bed in a dark room. I had sunglasses on because I couldn't handle the lights anymore. I couldn't go for a shower on my own. And I was listening to Anthony Jeffrey's podcast. So that was another thing I did. And there were like so many success stories in this podcast. And so I just thought, okay, Laura, just give it a try. And this was pretty much the best thing, whatever happened to me. Like I got my period back like pretty much after a week. My mental health issues just like pretty much went away, like on Carnivore after a few days. My health improved like so quick that I couldn't even I couldn't believe that. So it was like just crazy.
All right, friends. Thank you so much for coming by for another episode today. I am bringing on a friend that I found through Jolina Bando. I did an episode with her very recently and started following her Instagram stories more. And what I've found is just this awesome pattern of just this uprising of young women in Germany who are all sort of coming together around going for walks and listening to podcasts and learning about diet and healing all these problems that they've had. And I see it's very similar to what's happened in the USA, as I've seen, especially on the women's side, because I think we can all agree that women have been absolutely targeted by so many of the evil things we see from the big food industry and the health industry at large. So just seeing these communities of girls coming together and just lifting each other up, helping each other learn, heal themselves, and just build a community is so awesome. And this German niche is growing is amazing. So today I have with me Laura Greimann, who is one of those very wonderful women who Jolina has been boosting and showing love to. And I'm so happy to have you here today, Laura.
Hi, Ben. Thanks for having me.
So why don't we just start with your health story? I know that you have a very long and crazy one from when you were very young. So why don't we go all the way back to when you were younger and just sort of walk us through the years, how your experience has been.
Okay. So first of all, I have to apologize for my English. Like the last time, I learned English in school, and the last time of English classes is a long time ago. So hopefully you guys will understand me. And yeah, I will just try my best. And yeah.
You sound great.
Thank you.
German people always preface this. They're so friendly and just like polite. Meanwhile, zero English speakers I know can speak any German. So it's just...
Okay. So yeah. So in my childhood, I struggled with a lot of skin issues. Like I had atopic eczema. Like how do you call it?
Eczema. I hear some people pronounce it differently even in English, but yeah.
But that stopped at the age of 5. But at the age of 8, I got migraines. And when I turned 12, the doctors diagnosed me with PCOS. Like I had my period for the first time when I was 12, and I had such a pain. So I went to the doctors, and she told me that I have PCOS, and she gave me the anti-baby pill. Like this pill.
Birth control, right? I think that's what we typically call it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah,
at 12.
I had to take this. Yeah, at 12. So yeah, so she gave it to me, and she told me that it's normal to have PCOS, and that's like I probably won't be able to get kids. But I didn't really care about it. It didn't really bother me because at the age of 12, I wasn't thinking about getting a child or anything. So I just, things went on. And I also had like gut issues when I was a child. Like if you look up some pictures of me, you would probably always see me with a bloated belly. Like I used to be like so bloated all the time. And yeah, in my teenager years, I also had chronic cystitis and chronic tonsillitis. So the doctors always gave me antibiotics. I had like pretty much antibiotics like every month. So that was a hard time as well. And I already had a hard time with losing weight. Like I never really was a fat or like an overweighted person, but I kind of was like chubby. So and at the age of 18, I had my highest weight. Like I'm not tall, I'm just 4.9. So, and I had around 167 pounds, like 80 kilograms. It was like kind of like, yeah, it was not really like, yeah.
The word
So
I'd use is fluffy, a little bit
fluffy,
poofy.
yeah.
Not
Okay.
like obese, but you have a little
Yeah,
extra love in places you
yeah,
don't want it.
yeah. So I did some sports, and that was a time where I first started low carb the first time, like not for the health, but just for losing some weight. So yeah, so things went on, and at 2016, I got migraines with aura, like this kind of like I had this. My face was numb, and I couldn't like move my arms and legs anymore. So they drove me to the hospital because they thought that I would have a stroke, but it was migraine. So the doctors told me to get out of the like to not taking the pill, like the anti-baby pill. I forgot about the name.
Birth control. Yeah.
Both birth control. Yeah, and so she told me to don't take it anymore. So yeah, I didn't take it anymore, and my migraines got a bit better. But I yeah used to have migraines with aura like maybe 3 times a year, so it was like pretty bad. And I also got kidney stones as well. So another time that I went to the hospital because of the kidney stones. So actually, my body didn't work properly. So yeah, I got gut issues as well. Like they didn't improve. So with 2019, I had 3 gastrointestinal. Like I can't spell
This is the advanced version of English.
gastrointestinal endoscopy. Do you understand that?
Gastrointestinal
Yeah,
endoscopy. I don't actually know
and
that
this
endoscopy word, but it's
like they put something in your mouth and they just look up the
oh,
stomach.
so they
Yeah,
put the tube down your
yeah,
throat
yeah,
to I see. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So,
Lots
but
of
they
fun, I'm
didn't.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But they didn't actually found anything. So they diagnosed me with IBS. So yeah, so I had that was pretty much the first. I was like in such a pain that I got interested in nutrition and healthy food for the first time, like not just losing weight, but like feeling better. And the doctors told me to like include a lot of vegetables and like fruits, and to avoid meat and dairy and everything. So
Classic.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one. But it didn't really work for me. So yeah, obviously it didn't work. So in 2020, when the pandemic started, like I had a lot of stress at work, and I was pretty much eating plant-based. Like I tried to like just handle all my gut issues, and yeah, but I was like losing a lot of weight. Like I was eating a lot, but yeah, I just lost weight like for some reason. And so yeah, I also got depressed, like kind of like depressed, and my some binge eating started. Like I had binge eating attacks. So yeah, so in January 21, I felt like so bad that my family had to talk to me and asked me to go to the doctors because I was like, I had like, I don't want to talk about like the weight because some people could be triggered, like, but it was like really, really low. I was like so skinny. And so yeah, my family told me to go to the doctors because I was like so stressed out. And I didn't really want to go to the doctors because I was like sick of going to the doctors. So yeah, but then I thought, okay, maybe I will go to the doctors and they will give me a sick note for maybe like 1 week or two, and then I will be fine again. But actually, that was the start of being ill for like over 4 years. So I never really went to work again. So I just, yeah, he gave me the sick note, and yeah. So the doctors diagnosed me with anorexia and depression. Like it was a wrong diagnosis. Like I didn't have anorexia. I was like, I loved food and I was like eating so much, and I didn't do like this kind of food for like trying to get skinny or anything. I was like just my colon couldn't absorb food. So I was like eating really, really much, like kilograms of fruits and veggies, and I had like nuts and everything. So
And you're doing
yeah,
exactly what they told you to do. They literally
yeah,
told you to eat fruits
actually,
and
yes,
vegetables. So you said, okay, I'll eat all the fruits and vegetables. And then
yeah,
you go to another doctor and they say, no, 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 you're anorexic. And
yeah,
you're getting ping
it's
ponged
crazy.
around between different
Yeah,
doctors and none of them really know what's going on.
yeah, that's true. So, and this doctor told me to go to a mental hospital to, yeah, to just like get my things kind of like sorted, like. So, yeah, because it was the pandemic at this time, I needed to get two vaccinations, like this. Yeah, is it called vaccinations
Vaccination?
or vaccinations? Yeah,
Yeah.
and I had to get two of them. So I got them, and at the beginning everything was fine. Like I didn't really feel anything. It was like just I had this vaccinations, and yeah, it was okay. But actually, for some reason, after a few months, my my resting heart rate started to like go up, and I was like feeling kind of like fatigued, like pretty bad. But the doctor said it would be normal because I've got depressions and I just need to eat because, yeah, I need food and yeah, so I have to do some exercise so the depression will get better, but I actually couldn't really move like that much. It was like hard for me to like go on a walk or do any sports or anything. So, and at this mental hospital, they forced me to eat gluten and stuff I didn't tolerate it. Like I my colon doctor, I say it like this, he told me, like he diagnosed me with like a sorbitol intolerance and a fructose intolerance, like
Fructose
some
intolerance.
yeah, yeah, and sorbitol as well. Like, do you say this? Like,
Xylitol. I'm not sure. I
yeah,
don't know that
xylitol.
one. I haven't
Okay,
heard of that.
and he told me like that I have this diagnosed, but actually at this mental hospital they didn't believe me because they thought that would be anorexia thoughts, and I just need to eat. It doesn't matter what I eat, just I just have to put on some weight. So actually, when I came home after like 5 weeks, I couldn't tolerate it, food at all anymore. Like everything I ate, I was just like bloated, and my heart rate went up and yeah, things got really, really worse. And actually yeah, when I started to visit many other doctors and alternative practitioners, like some people who just try, yeah, I just tried to find someone to help me. But yeah, but that didn't really work. Like every time I went to a new doctor, to a practitioners, and they always gave me some new diagnoses like osteopenia or intolerances like histamine. I got diagnosed with leaky gut and some virus and all that
They're
stuff.
just
But
throwing darts at a dartboard, kind of just taking guesses because nothing's working. It's
yeah,
essentially.
and actually, I got
Man,
to my lowest point then. So I couldn't walk anymore. I was like just lying in bed in a dark room. I had sunglasses on because I couldn't handle the lights anymore. I couldn't go for a shower on my own. Like, I got this care level 2 in Germany, we say. Like, my boyfriend had to take care of me all the time. I couldn't do myself any food, like something to eat. It wasn't able. Like, I was just like, yeah, my boyfriend had to do everything for me. So, at sometimes I had good days, like I could probably like listen to some podcasts, but that was the only thing I could do. So then I started to get to a podcast where they were talking about the ketogenic diet. And actually, I was like, I heard about the ketogenic diet before when I was doing low carb. I heard about it before, but I never really like practiced it. So then after like listen to some podcasts and anything, I just thought, oh, Laura, just try the ketogenic diet. Maybe it will work. And actually, I got a bit better. Like these ketones worked for me. Like I could go to a shower on my own. Like, and I also got my period back. Like I haven't had my period for like 6 or 7 years. It just disappeared. And now with the ketogenic diet, it was like I practiced it maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I already got my period back. So it's
so
kind of
really
like,
fast. Yeah.
yeah, it kind of like worked for me. But I
Real quick, sorry to interrupt, but
yeah,
could you maybe just add a little bit of color to what ketogenic diet you're having? Because I know it's kind of a vague term. Was it like just more meats and like a little bit of vegetables, just basically getting rid of the gluten? What was that looking
yeah.
like for you?
Like I try to not eat gluten at all. Like so, I avoid gluten. So I had like a bit of dairy. I had like vegetables, like zucchini. Do you say zucchini? Yeah,
Zucchini, yeah.
and zucchini, yeah, and salads and all that. I had yeah, eggs and some fruits like berries, blueberries, and yeah, but not much because I always had to, yeah, try to be in ketosis, so you can't really get a lot of carbs. Like, and I wasn't able to move that much, so I always had to take my fat really high. So yeah, and I had like a lot of fat, like butter, or I had ghee, like or beef
Ghee,
tallow,
yeah,
ghee,
it's a funny
yeah,
word.
beef,
Yeah.
beef tallow as well, and yeah, eggs, and sometimes I had meat as well, but not like often. I didn't really like meat, so
You still had that plant-based
yeah,
agenda sort of in your brain of like, I shouldn't be
yeah.
eating meat, so I'll have like anything else that has fat in it.
That's true. Yeah, I always,
Yeah.
it was like kind of, even when I changed my diet to carnivore, it was hard for me to give like to not eating vegetables anymore. Like I never really liked them, but it was like this kind of like in my head that the vegetables are healthy. So
You're
it was
supposed
like,
to eat them.
yeah,
Even though you don't like them, you're supposed to have them.
but actually I don't miss them at all.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, when I kind of started the ketogenic diet, I also started to improve with my fatigue. Like I started to go on little walks again. I was like buying myself like a little walking pad, and I was just in the living room and trying to get some steps. Like at the beginning, it was like just 100 steps maybe, and then I was like just doing 1,000 steps and then 2,000 steps, and yeah, I got better, but it wasn't like really good. So then I decided to go to another doctor. This time it was an environmental medicine specialist, and he finally diagnosed me with ME/CFS, like the chronic fatigue syndrome. So, and I had like really high autoantibodies, like the GPCR autoantibodies. They were like so high, and so he told me to get done a blood wash. Like he said that this could help my like me getting maybe a bit better of the fatigue. So, yeah, but I wasn't allowed to practice a ketogenic diet while getting this blood wash. So, yeah, I felt so bad afterwards after getting this blood washes done. I think it was about three times I had to go to the blood wash, and I felt so bad, and that was so frustrated for me. And so yeah, I kind of like started to binge again, and I was like just giving up myself pretty much, couldn't do anything, and I was just, yeah, I didn't really, I always tried to get to a point where I can be healthy again, but actually I couldn't find anything. And even the ketogenic diet, like it improved like a bit, but not as much. So yeah, in January this year, my psychotherapist, he asked me to do the ketogenic diet again because like he was like just so kind of like, yeah, he tried to remind me that the ketogenic diet just helped myself like a little bit, but I was like, oh well, it's such a restricted diet, and it didn't really help me that much. Like I didn't, yeah, I couldn't be that healthy I wanted. So yeah, I was like thinking about getting the keto, like practicing the ketogenic diet again or not. But then I decided to actually give it another try this year in January. But then all of a sudden in February, my father-in-law just died suddenly. So like out of the sudden, he went to work and he had a heart attack, and yeah, he never came back from work. So it was like kind of like really hard for us. And so I felt out of ketosis again because of all the stress, and I couldn't handle this fact, because he wasn't sick or anything, like probably he was, but no one would you couldn't tell. And then he just had this heart attack. So yeah, it was pretty hard. And so I had my last binge eating attack. But this time, this binge eating attack, because I was like in ketosis before, and then I felt out of ketosis and I was like frustrated. And then I had this binge eating attack, and this time it was like different. Like I used to binge like some food and just feel good for the moment and feel bad afterwards. But this time I had this binge, but it didn't really make me feel happy. So I was like, okay, this is kind of like weird. Something changed in my body. So just go to ketosis again, like do the ketogenic diet again. So yeah, so I had a talk to a friend I met on Instagram. It's not Jelena, but another one. And yeah, she told me about the carnivore diet, and how her gut issues just disappeared on going on this diet. So yeah, but I was like, I can't eat that much meat, and just eating meat, that's not healthy, and I don't know. But then I decided to buy the book of Sean Baker, like this. I actually
It's
don't know
just
the
called the
English word.
Carnivore Diet, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Yeah,
got
I
it for
bought
my
this
parents
one.
for Christmas, so
Ah,
it's on my
cool.
table at home.
I love this book. So, and yeah, so I was listening to Anthony Jeffrey's podcast. So that was another thing I did. And there were like so many success stories in this podcast. And so I just thought, okay, Laura, just give it a try. And this was pretty much the best thing, whatever happened to me. Like I started carnivore in April this year. Like I wasn't really healthy when I started, and the first improve I had after like a few days. Like I started, like my belly started to stop getting, like I wasn't bloated anymore, like not that much. At the beginning, maybe a bit, but not much. And I also I had like this mental issues went away. Like I used to cry a lot because I was like always frustrated about all this going to the doctors. No one could help me and everything. So I was like frustrated all the time. And yeah, the hardest thing about everything was that the doctor didn't believe me when they diagnosed me with anorexia. And I always told the people I'm not anorexic. So like I'm eating enough and I'm eating much, and so that's my mental health issues just like pretty much went away like on carnivore after a few days. And I also like I could start like doing like big runs or like walkings. Like I go for a walk, or I used to go for a walk like for hours. So after a few days, I could go for a walk again, like, and even like 10,000, 20,000 steps. Like I improved, my health improved like so quick that I couldn't even I couldn't believe that. So it was like just crazy. And I had more energy. And the crazy thing about carnivore for me is that when I started with sports, like going to the gym and everything, and in the past, I never got sweaty at all. Like even if I do sports, I never got sweaty. But now on carnivore, I start to sweat again. Like every time I go to the gym now, I'm like so sweaty afterwards. So yeah, so I can like really like work on my body, and I like my body just kind of like things go pretty good now. So yeah, so in April I started with carnivore, and like I got my period back like pretty much after a week of doing carnivore. That's pretty much crazy as well. And yeah, and since June, I've started a new job. I was like so motivated when I started with carnivore that I thought, okay, you're like nearly sick for like 4 years now, and you don't want to go back to your old work. So like I had some interviews and I tried to find a new work, and actually, yeah, I got a new job. So since June this year, I just started a new job, and it's like 40 hours a week. And I just started from 0 to 100%. Like in Germany, it's like that you just start with 2 hours at the beginning, and then after a few weeks you're starting with 4 hours, and then you kind of like go up with the hours of working again. when you are sick for such a long time. But I just decided to get a new job. And yeah, so now I'm like working again since June. It's pretty crazy as well. And probably couldn't do that without Carnivore as well. So like just Carnivore changed my whole life. And yeah, for the fact that I always were like so sick, even in my childhood, and I had always these gut issues, I probably, yeah, I had like some intolerances and everything as well. So yeah, it's just my whole life changed, and I can go to the gym as well. Like again, it was like when I was so sick, it was like my biggest dream to go to the gym again. And when I was like not that sick, like in my teenager years, I always was like, oh, I go to sports. No, I'm not like in the mood for going to sports. And when I was so sick, I was like, that was my biggest wish to go to the gym and everything. So now I just, yeah, reached this wish. The first time I went to the gym was in June, like this month. So yeah, now I'm just starting to build some muscles again. And yeah, my weight is pretty like good. Like now I'm just having a normal weight, and I'm putting on so much muscles that actually my weight is starting to go up again, but it's like more muscle than anything else. So that's just amazing. I just love that. I never want to go back. So I started, yeah, carnivore, just meat and some dairies sometimes, but I actually kind of don't know if I really tolerate dairy that good. Like I love dairy, so sometimes I just eat this. But yeah, maybe I want to try the lion diet for a few months next, yeah, like sometime later on. But yeah, actually at the moment I'm pretty fine. And yeah, sometimes I have still like days where I'm like a bit tired. It's like not a fatigue, like it's not this fatigue, it's more like a tiredness. But actually, I think it's kind of like normal that you like even for a healthy person, it's kind of like normal not to be on the 100% like every day. So I always had to remind me of like, okay, Laura, you're at like maybe 90% and not 100%, so you're not sick. You're just having, it's just normal. So I pretty much, yeah, I'm so healthy now, and I can't wait to do it like in the future as well. So maybe things will improve even better.
That is such an amazing story, and thank you so much for sharing all that. And there's so much that people will take from this. And for listeners, a reminder, we're recording this at the very end of June. You
Yeah,
started Carnivore in April, so like less than 3 months ago. And all of this has already changed. And like you said, after a whole lifetime of sickness, it's going to take time for that healing to happen. And when
yeah,
you remove all those plant toxins and the fiber that was wrecking your gut and the plant toxins that were giving you the mental issues and all the issues all over your body, the hormonal issues,
mm,
that's going to take some time. So I'm super excited to talk to you early here when you're literally at the very first inning of this and figuring things out. So that's going to be super
yeah,
exciting to just see things continue to change. And it's funny how you talk about the energy levels being a little bit uh, wonky for you because
yeah,
I mean, so many people experience that when you're transitioning from being carbohydrate fueled to fat fueled. It's a difference for your body, and so there is a
yeah,
little bit of a wobbly period there. And funny enough for me, actually, I have found that I just have so much energy being in ketosis on carnivore that I stay up super late too often.
mm,
I will just work all day and like go deep into the night and then look at the clock like, oh my gosh, I've been working. It's like 2 a.m. right now. I should probably go to
yeah,
bed. I still have energy to keep going even after an
yeah,
entire day. So I found that I have to like hold myself back and force myself to go to bed and sleep. Where,
yeah,
back in the old days when I was on carbs, like I was like excited to go to bed, like please, like let me go to sleep because I've been exhausted for so long, or take naps in the middle of the day. Like
yeah,
naps are long gone, but it's a transitional process, and it's this is just a great testimonial for how quickly that can change.
yeah,
All the things that you were dealing with your whole life, literally in a matter of just a couple months, and you said even just in a few weeks, you're feeling significantly better from
yeah.
being bedridden. Um, a couple of people that I thought of while you were telling your story. First one is Judy Cho. Does that name ring a bell for you? Do you know her?
No, I actually
Okay.
maybe I do, but I can't remember her like right now.
I'm gonna send you her channel after this. She
Yeah,
has a
okay.
channel called Nutrition with Judy, and she's
Oh yeah,
incredible. Does
true.
that
I
ring?
know
Okay,
her.
so
I
you
know
remember
her. Yeah, yeah.
that.
I know
So
her.
I hear a lot of parallels of your story with hers. She had a very
Yeah.
similar. Um, I guess hers was a little bit more toward the eating disorders, mental health side. That was really her core problem was the eating disorders, and she had a bunch of other hormonal issues as well. And the piece that was exactly the same was she went to the doctor, and they pretty much said, oh, you need to go to the mental hospital.
Mm,
It's all in your head. It's genetic. We need to send you away to this place to get fixed. And so she went to the mental hospital, and they basically just feed you garbage
yeah.
full of canola oil and gluten and fruits and vegetables, all these things that are doing nothing to help your brain. And I think one of the most important aspects of both of those stories is that you're both women. I never hear this happen with guys. It seems
Yeah,
like the
true.
doctors are so quick to just see a woman talking about any health problems and say, oh, you're just being emotional, you're crazy, let's send you
Yeah.
to the mental health clinic. It's like one of their first things they do. Well, the very first thing they do is put you on birth control. Like, let's just fill you up with
Mm.
chemicals from 12 years old. And then they say, oh, you're being emotional and crazy, so let's send you to the mental hospital.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
crazy.
is such an important thing for female listeners, especially young ones, to listen to be prepared for, if you go to the doctor, these doctors have been trained to, push people into very uh, strictly defined tracks of what they're supposed to give you. They're either
Mm.
going to give you a drug, or they're going to, push you off to someone else and ping pong you around, like you said, where you had multiple doctors telling you contradicting things and basically just making you feel like what the hell's going on here? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you told me to eat fruits and vegetables. I'm doing that. Now I have all this gut pain from all the fiber that I'm ingesting. And they're just kind of throwing you back and forth, and you just feel lost. And
Yeah.
all these problems just snowball even more, and it becomes more of a mental burden to try to juggle all of this and live a normal life. Um, and for you, the carnivore diet was a help. And I hear so many people say the same thing, because in order
Yeah.
to climb out of that hole, and you were definitely in a hole at this point. I mean, you were literally in a dark room with sunglasses on, you couldn't walk. I would say to anyone else out there who's listening to this, and like you said, pretty much all you could do is listen to podcasts. That's
Mm.
amazing. That's a great first
Yeah.
step. If you can lay there, even if you can't walk or move, if you can listen to podcasts, you can begin your healing journey from your bed, because you're going to be
Yeah.
able to learn these stories from people who have been through this before. And as you and I would both recommend, the first step when you're in that position of feeling hopeless and sick is to try the carnivore diet out. Give it
Yeah.
a try. What do you have nothing to lose? Everything else has failed you. We hear so many testimonials of people trying this way of eating, and it just gets them directly on the right path. Another one that I had in mind is Ribeye Rachel. Does that ring a bell for you? Have you heard of her?
Mm.
I
Yeah.
pulled her up in another tab, and like you, she was completely bedridden. She couldn't move. She couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Her whole life was in shambles. And I pulled up another tab. She had
Crazy.
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, craniocervical instability, dysautonomia, Chiari malformation, chronic Lyme disease, adrenal insufficiency, and just a
Wow.
laundry list of problems similar to you. She couldn't do anything. She was completely
Wow. Yeah.
debilitated. And for her, she just started eating a bunch of ribeye and cut out all the plants, and she began her track to healing. And
Yeah.
for listeners, I'll make sure to put all these other people's stories in the show notes so you can start listening, because I really think that this is the time more than any other where you need to just listen to real people who have been through
Yeah.
this experience and just forget what the whole medical system is telling you, because
Yeah.
they're all lost.
Like sometimes it's not really good to listen to the doctors, because I told my doctors after getting better and after going on the carnivore diet, I told my doctor about the carnivore diet, and he just said, "Oh, that's rubbish, and you will kill yourself, and it doesn't work." Like he actually did the ketogenic diet and back then, like he told me, but he said like carnivore is just like dangerous, kind of like dangerous. So I just was like, okay, that I like, why, how can it be dangerous if it worked for me? Like, I used to have PCOS, like, I didn't have my period, and now I've, like, going on carnivore, I got my period back. So is it dangerous? Like, I don't think so.
In they so many doctors also have this ego built up because they've gone
Mm,
through the
yeah,
the years
true.
and years of schooling. They passed all the tests. They got the fancy letters on their name and the diploma, and so they have this feeling of they are the authority and they know what's best. Even and
Mm,
they don't really understand it. They've just been brainwashed by big pharma this whole time.
yeah, true.
And so when someone like you actually fixes their problems by doing the opposite of what they say, they just refuse to acknowledge that that's what happened, except for a few very rare, excellent people out there who you and I know.
Mm,
You mentioned Dr. Anthony Chafee and
yeah,
Dr. Ken Berry, Robert Kiltz, so many people out there who have been through this journey as a doctor from the doctor side where
yeah,
they were working with patients and they were giving the standard advice: eat your fruits and vegetables and grains, avoid the meat, eat less, move more to lose weight, which you also mentioned. Like, they're just telling you to exercise when you can't even freaking move. So
yeah,
they just like force the standard advice on. And then they just, these doctors realize that it's just not working. And they decided to give this carnivore thing a try because they heard it was actually fixing people. What a novel concept.
mm,
And as they bring more and more patients in and they help them through their problems, it just becomes this huge momentum shift of like people start figuring out, oh, like there's actually a solution here to all these things. Plants are
yeah,
not actually good for us. They're actually, nature's chemical defense weapons that try to stop things from eating them. And this can manifest in all sorts of ways. Like, you experienced a whole bunch of different things that happen from plant toxins and fiber,
yeah,
destroying
true.
your digestion, your mentality. And it, I actually looked at your Instagram and you had osteoporosis as well. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's
I mean,
correct.
that's a bone thing, right? Like your bones are
Yeah,
having issues.
yeah. It's like I didn't get my period, so that was like changing all the hormones in my system, and that affect my bones as well. So yeah, I've got osteopenia, like os osteopenia now. How do you call it?
Osteoporosis.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I just got that. But actually, I have an hospital appointment in November this year to get it checked again. And I'm so excited of what it will, yeah, say on the piece of paper. Like, if it's if I still got it, like if I still have it, or maybe it improved. Like, I'm so excited to go there. The first time I'm excited to go to doctors. And
Yeah,
yeah,
because you finally found the solution, and now you get to go
yeah,
back to all these doctor's visits with like a newfound sense of like, you figured it out, and now you're coming
yeah,
back, and it's almost sort of an entertainment source. Like, what's the reaction going to be from these doctors when they figured out that I fixed this thing? And unfortunately, the majority of them are going to say like, "Oh, you got lucky" or something stupid. They're not really going
yeah,
to acknowledge it. But you now have the power in your hands to, come back with
true.
the knowledge of, I actually fixed this. Let's see
Yeah,
what the reaction is, and hopefully try to help teach them, because
yeah,
like the doctors need to learn this stuff. This is extremely important that we get those people who are in these medical positions actually educated on the truth. And it's kind of a crazy world where idiot podcasters like me and people who are just kind of going through life like you, we have no medical degree, no education on it, but we've experienced it. And just through life experience, we are actually above the majority of the doctors out there, which is a crazy thing to think about. But this is where we're at, and we've got to figure it out, and we've got a world to change here. Let's go.
yeah, true. Yeah, so it's so amazing, like carnivore. I think that sometimes I'm a bit scared, sad because so many people don't want, like, they see me now and they saw me back then. They see me now, and they asked me what I did, and I told them about the carnivore diet, but they just don't want to like hear that. Like, they're just like, no, that's like not because of the meat. You change something else. Like, I'm actually kind of like I don't get it that so many people are still like not like still believe in that meat is causing like cancer and everything. Like I just don't get it, and it's like a wish of me like that the people are like just getting the real like how do you say it, the reality, like that meat is like not causing like any cancer or anything, so it's just like healing. Meat is like meat can heal yourself like from any issues, I guess, like,
Yeah.
or many, not every but many issues, so it can improve pretty much so much. So yeah, the body is just
I still have not found a single thing that it doesn't improve.
yeah,
It is not going to make anything worse. It either, things
true,
either stay the same or get better. And
yeah,
one common thing I do hear among, all the different testimonials I hear is that sometimes there are certain things that don't heal immediately or take a really long time, or sometimes never heal, but it never gets worse. Like
hmm,
for me personally, one of the
true,
things that I would sure love to fix in a heartbeat would be my allergies. That's one of my, that's been my boogeyman my whole life. Always had a really stuffy nose and just like a nasally voice. And I've always
hmm,
been trying to fix that. And
yeah,
that hasn't, fixed overnight with carnivore, but I'm holding out hope that it's never going to get worse. I'm just going to keep doing this and it's going to improve and keep getting better. But there's so many different ways that the human body can show you that it's being poisoned.
yeah,
And
true,
for you, like the eczema, skin problems is a huge one. I had a great conversation with this woman named Christina Mathewson, who talked about
hmm,
how when your liver is overloaded with toxins it needs to handle, because that's your liver's job, is it filters out the toxins. When you're filling it with too many toxins, it gets overloaded and it pushes out the detoxification jobs to other parts of your body. It basically
hmm,
outsources it. It says, I can't take anymore. I'm going to push it out to, the skin, for example. And then the
yeah,
skin will start, showing eczema or psoriasis or acne. And this
true,
is a very simple concept that most people don't understand, is that when you have, acne, that's literally just your body telling you that you're you're starting to utilize these other detoxification pathways because your liver is overloaded.
yeah,
And what it's most often overloaded by, I mean, there's all kinds of things we have to watch out for these days in the modern society, where you've got terrible tap water. Women have just tons of horrible, like, beauty products and like sprays and makeups and things that are all, just seeping into their skin and increasing that load. And also, the biggest one is the fucking plants people are eating.
yeah,
They're full of plant toxins. These are toxins that the plants have evolved to produce to protect themselves, and we're just stuffing our faces with it because we've been told by the TV and the USDA that's good for us. And so pretty much everybody out there right now is above that threshold that their liver can handle, because that's what we're
yeah,
being told to do. And not to mention, the digestive problems from the fiber itself, all the other problems. And so you'd be hard pressed to find pretty much anyone right now who's been alive for a couple of decades who doesn't have some sort of chronic issues that they're dealing with, or autoimmune disease,
hmm,
just because they're eating so many plant toxins every day. And so the carnivore diet is really just eliminating these toxins that you're filling your system with, and just starting from the baseline of what humans have been eating forever. So that's why it's so effective. It's the ultimate elimination diet. And like you and I believe, this is the optimal human diet. It's not just for elimination. This is like a lifestyle now. I don't see myself ever
yeah,
going back. There's no reason to eat vegetables because they suck. Like, why would I? I don't
yeah,
want lettuce. It doesn't even taste good. And this is why when you give a baby a vegetable, they immediately push it away because they don't want it. Because they haven't been brainwashed yet by, the media stream telling them that they're supposed to eat it even though they don't want it. So it's a big crazy mess.
yeah,
But the tide is turning. People like you are out sharing your story, and people are figuring it out, which is super exciting. I'm really, really happy that this momentum is really growing, and the anecdotal evidence is reaching escape velocity, where every single day I go on YouTube and just see thousands of new videos. People are creating YouTube channels, Instagram pages, where they're sharing
yeah,
their stories of how they've healed and that's unstoppable. You can't stop that. It's just going to keep growing
No.
because when people heal, they're going to share. And when they heal, like especially their mental health as well, they have all this new energy that they want to put toward doing what I believe all humans innately want to do, which is help each other and help each other thrive and
Yeah.
feel better. Because when you have healed yourself in a sea of people that you see are very sick, it's very much part of our DNA to want to share what we've learned and help everyone. So that's what you're doing with your Instagram page. I'm doing my
Yes.
best here on the podcast. And, you know, the big dog doctors like Dr. Chafee and Ken Berry are just making a huge impact. So, like, the more we can support those guys, the better. And it's just a very exciting time. And
Yeah.
really, really excited to help boost you up a little bit, get you into this space, because I know that you've been posting about it. And I'm excited for you to continue sharing your story and continue experiencing this journey, because you're still brand new to it. You just started.
Yeah.
This is
True.
the very beginning.
Yeah.
So, Laura, I think this is a fantastic episode. We could keep fairly short. We don't have to go on too long here
Yeah.
because your story is there. And I want to make sure it's very bite-sized for the people out there who, like you, are just sort of looking for just hope and stories from people who have healed. So why don't you just wrap this up here with just your message to the women out there specifically who are, you know, dealing with all these issues. They may feel hopeless and their health is not in a good place and they're looking for solutions. What would you tell to them?
Yeah. I would just try the carnivore diet. Like, just give it a go. Just try it, and you don't have to like be as strict as from the beginning. Like, you can also like just trying to cut gluten first, then you try to cut the fruits and then the veggies. Like, you don't have to like do it like from 0 to 100%, but just give it a try and see what it feels like. Like you just said, like, I actually know no one as well, like, who really got worse when doing carnivore. Like, they always improved, or they were at the same point, but they actually didn't really get felt like worse with carnivore. So I just want to say, like, just give it a try and see what it goes like. And yeah, but it probably will be perfect.
Yeah, and I just whipped up a little list on the side here of like the steps people can take, like you're saying. I would
Yeah.
say the first step is to get rid of the high grade poisons, which would be like seed oils and
Yeah.
alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
Things that you
Seed
find
oils.
in
True.
processed food is terrible. Like most people out there have heard at least the word seed oils at this point. They know what it is. That is something you need to get out yesterday. That's engine lubricant, not doesn't belong anywhere in your diet. So if it's a processed food, basically anything you buy in the middle aisles of the grocery store, get rid of that crap immediately. Switch to whole foods, and this is what I started with as well. Like first, I
Mm.
did the whole foods, so I cut out the processed crap. Was then just fruits, vegetables, and meat, and
Yeah.
then I kept learning, kept watching videos. Okay, vegetables are really full of defense chemicals because those are like the leaves, the part of the plant that wants to stay alive. So it's going to poison you. So, all
Yeah.
right, I don't really like them anyway, so I'll cut the vegetables out. So then I would just meat and fruit for a while. I just had those two things.
Ah, yeah.
And so I did that for several months and felt much better and just continued learning. Like you said, never stop learning, keep
Yeah.
listening to podcasts. And then I learned, man, fruit is just freaking sugar and fiber
Yeah.
and
True.
non-bioavailable nutrients. They don't do anything for you.
No.
So I ended up cutting those out as well and just went all in on the carnivore diet from there and just felt even better. So
Yes.
everyone can take these steps to just improve things one step at a time. You don't have to go all in immediately if you don't want to.
No.
Some people do, and you may experience some more intense transitional effects if you go all in. There's oxalate dumping,
Yeah.
like people like
True.
Jolena talks about. She has had oxalate dumping because when your body finally stops taking in all these plant toxins, it says, it takes a sigh of relief, and then it
Yeah.
starts pushing that stuff out in all sorts of uncomfortable ways. It starts ejecting it out of your body. Like some people get
That's
like
true.
boogers in their eyes. My friend had like this dead, dirty skin like coming out of his back, and
Yeah.
there's the diarrhea, of course. That's the classic. So there is going to be a transition. Just understand that that is your body ejecting the poisons it's been filled with, and you got to push through
Mm.
that to the other side. And if it's too bad, like like Jolena is doing, she has a little bit of tea every once in a while and a little bit of dark chocolate that has a little bit of
Mm.
oxalates, just so you can sort of smooth out that detox a little bit more. But it's once you push through the other side, you're going to feel amazing. You're going to feel better than you ever have. I've never heard a single story of someone not feeling better after they've pushed through that transitional phase. They come out the other side. They're in ketosis for the first time, the way that the human body is naturally supposed to be energized, the way we have for 99.9% of our history. You never know which crazy illnesses you've been dealing with are just going to heal or fade away, or at least improve. It's truly magical, and I'm so excited we're getting the word out. I'm so excited that you're sharing your story, and appreciate you so much, Laura. It's been a fantastic conversation. I can't wait to share this with everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really great. Like, I'm happy.
The first
Thank
of
you.
many. The first of many. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to more from you. I'm sure that you're gonna have some more very soon. I'm gonna share this around and make sure some good people
Yeah,
see it so we can help some folks.
cool. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, Laura.
Bye.